during budget negotiations while they spent hours debating and working on a comprehensive gun and school safety bill. The new budget includes increased funding for public schools and sets aside $100 million for Florida's land preservation program. Most of the increase for schools is tied to a sweeping gun and school safety bill already signed by Governor Rick Scott. The politics of the Florida legislative session have ended. Now the politics of this midterm election year begins, but many voters remain disengaged.
Frank Orlando of St. Leo University says the school's latest political poll shows Republican Governor Rick Scott leading Democratic incumbent Bill Nelson in the U.S. Senate race, though Scott hasn't officially declared his candidacy. But Orlando says it'll get interesting, especially if Nelson tries to link Scott to President Trump.
Democrats are going to be trying to nationalize the race, and it'll be interesting to see if they succeed or if Rick Scott can hold them off.
The governor's race is not as far along. Most of those questioned in the St. Leo poll are undecided.
In April, in May, this race is really going to get going. I think Putnam starts off with an advantage. I think Gwen Graham starts off with an advantage, as we show. But believe me, there's nothing about their advantages that are insurmountable.
Orlando says that race will start gaining traction in the next couple of months. I'm Sharon Parker.
House Speaker Richard Corcoran, a Republican from Land O'Lakes, says the NRA lawsuit against the school safety bill is not unusual or unexpected.
I think I've been sued more times than any other presiding officer, and I don't think we've lost a case. I don't think we'll lose a case. I think what we did was constitutional. In 5-10 years, people will talk completely differently about the bill we passed, including the NRA.
Governor Rick Scott also says he won't back down in the face of a legal challenge to the school safety bill from the NRA.
I'm going to fight for this bill. I believe it does the right thing. We have to recognize that we want to protect everybody's rights, but we also want to protect our kids and our grandkids' school, and the safety of our school. I've got kids and grandkids. I want them to be safe. I want every child in this school to be safe.
The governor says he still does support the NRA, but their lawsuit against the school safety plan is going to fail.
You know, I'm an NRA member. I'm going to remain an NRA member. I'm going to fight for the Second Amendment, but I'm going to fight to make sure that our kids are safe in this state.
Senate President Joe Negron, a Republican from Stewart, says raising the minimum age to buy a rifle from 18 to 21 is not a violation of the Constitution.
I feel comfortable that the 18 to 21 issue, which I understand is one of the major issues being litigated, that we already have that in our Florida Constitution for handguns. So our voters have spoken, and it's in our Constitution.
A two-vehicle accident Friday night killed a 56-year-old Dunellen woman and injured a 21-year-old Ocala woman. The deceased woman is identified in the report as Gerhia Taberis. The injured woman is identified as Omisha Burton. The report states that the accident happened on US 41 just past Southwest 93rd Lane Road in Dunellen. According to the Florida Highway Patrol, sometime shortly after 7 p.m., Taberis was driving a pickup truck south on 41. Burton was driving a Hyundai north. For an unknown reason, Taberis lost control of the pickup and it veered into the northbound lane, causing the two vehicles to hit each other head-on. A 27-year-old Ocala man died from injuries suffered in a hit-and-run accident early Saturday morning at the Leesburg Mall. Michael Roberts was airlifted to Orlando Regional Medical Center after suffering critical injuries in the hit-and-run accident at 12:54 a.m. Saturday at Via Entertainment at 10401 U.S. Highway 441, according to the Leesburg Police Department. Roberts died late Saturday afternoon from his injuries. The initial investigation revealed a 2018 silver Chevrolet pickup truck was traveling north in the parking lot of Via Entertainment. As the vehicle traveled north, it struck a 2011 white Chevrolet SUV driven by 37-year-old LaWanda Altine of Center Hill, and then struck Roberts and 26-year-old Matthew Wilkerson of Citra. Both men were pedestrians. Wilkerson refused medical assistance at the scene. The driver of the 2018 silver Chevrolet pickup truck fled the scene. Disney's shareholders were treated to updates on a slew of projects during the annual shareholder meeting last week in Houston, including a look at construction of the highly anticipated Star Wars Galaxy's Edge land at Disneyland and Florida's Disney World. The Disney Parks blog released flyover video shown Thursday to shareholders. Although the video shows the status of construction at Disneyland in California, the Star Wars land coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios here in Florida is expected to be similar. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is considered to be Disney's largest attractions expansion. Set on the remote planet of Batuu, the new land is supposed to provide guests with an immersive, customizable experience. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is expected to open at both parks in 2019. Disney also announced that filmmaker Jon Favreau has been tapped as showrunner for a live-action Star Wars series which will come to Disney's upcoming media streaming platform. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. I'd like to invite you to stop by and see our new boutique area and meet our staff of professional stylists. Here at Hello Gorgeous, we are ready to update your look with the latest trends. And with summer here, it's the perfect time to brighten up your look. So make your appointment now for those highlights and Brazilian blowout. But don't stop there. We are a full-service salon offering manicures, pedicures, and facials also. So if you've been searching for a salon to call your own, come and see us at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located at 48 South Magnolia Avenue in downtown Ocala, right next to the Marion Theater. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
All right, 19 minutes before 12 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It's not raining anymore, but I think it's about to end, and the cold temperatures are coming in. Let me look at the weather real quick.
Okay.
Let me look, and then we'll go. I want to talk about the budget that was just passed. They
The Florida state budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they sent all the people in the media talking points. I mean, of course, they're going to be skewed. We can look at them and see what we think. Let's see. 61 right now. The temperature's been going down all day. It was 66 earlier today. Now it's 61.
Gosh.
So tonight, dropping to 39.
Golly.
39. Tomorrow, dropping to 38, Tuesday night. And then Wednesday night, dropping to 34. And then Thursday, these are overnight lows, by the way. 38 is the overnight low for Thursday. The highs during the day in the upper 60s each of these days. And then Friday finally gets back into the 70s. Sunday back into the 80s, and then I guess we're back to normal. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Your legislators, state legislators up in Tallahassee, passed a new budget, $89 billion worth of money. And they issued, I don't know who issues this, but they issue a news release talking point thing for us in the media. And it really works out to be nice and handy.
Nice.
But I don't want you for 1 minute to think that I'm an expert on this. I'm basically going to do like we do at 7:35. Mm-hmm. I will read you what I have and offer commentary if I have any. You out there are welcome to offer commentary in return, whether we just... You probably know more than I do about this stuff, so call in and help us understand it. But this is not a place where we debate. This is just a place to express our thoughts, okay?
Okay.
So part of that money goes to education. Part of it is going to address property taxes, pay raises, tuition, citrus canker, the environment, healthcare, cybersecurity, taxes, and economic development. Those are the categories, okay?
Okay.
So regarding education, this is probably the big one. The new budget increases day-to-day public school spending by nearly $485 million. Mm-hmm. That translates to an increase of 2.35%.
Gosh.
The annual per student spending would be $7,408, which is about $101 more this year. So each student... The amount of money that is invested in each student by you, the taxpayer, it is ultimately you, the taxpayer, that pays us, $101 more per student if you broke it down to each student.
There you go.
Most of the increase is tied to the gun and school safety bill signed by the governor. Mm-hmm. That bill included a $97 million increase in funding for school safety programs that can be used to hire more school resource officers. It also includes $69 million for a new mental health program that will be instituted in the state's public schools. School superintendents from some of the state's largest school districts have warned the budget is not enough to take care of rising costs and will likely result in cuts in other programs. So I don't know about that. I trust that they do. I just want to say one thing about the mental health part of this. I think if you, I'm just sitting at the table, drinking my coffee, spouting my mouth. I am not an expert. But from my perspective, if you are to say, we're going to spend some money so that we can better monitor the mental health of our students so that we don't have a 19-year-old former student come in and shoot up the school.
Yeah.
Which is what we want. We don't want that to happen. Then I think you have to look at your ability to like a person. Does that make sense? Because here's what I have witnessed in my life. I have witnessed this, and I'm going to tell you, I witnessed this when I worked for the Juvenile Detention Center. If there was a young person, somebody under 18, still technically a child, who was sad, was despondent, was really in need of help, I'm telling you the truth. If that young person was attractive in some way, they had no problem working with that child. But if that child was ugly in some way, and I don't necessarily mean physically, I mean maybe they had a really bad attitude, sorry, or maybe they were dorky, okay, or whatever. I'm telling you, I watched the counselors kind of pass the buck on them.
Gosh.
And so, I attribute it to like and not like. Like if you like somebody, you're going to work with them. If you don't like somebody, you're going to not work with them. And so I think the commitment has to be that somebody you don't like is more likely to be shunned even by those who are in an adult place, in an authority place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I remember catching one of the counselors at this. I was sitting in a meeting one time where there was a counselor and there was me, and I was supposed to be there in training, oh, by the way, and then there was this kid. And this kid had broken the law, was in some kind of a trouble, but whatever he did wasn't so bad, so they were considering him for the non-secure program. I don't know what they call it now, but it was like house arrest at that time. And I could tell the counselor didn't like him, and I don't know why. Maybe because he wore thick glasses, maybe because he was chubby, because he was, maybe because he was dark-skinned. I don't know if he was African-American or what he was, but I could tell that this counselor just didn't like this kid. And so then I spoke up, and I said, I think you're putting your own feelings on this kid. I think this kid needs some help. And you don't want to work with him because you've got your own agenda or your own internal thing. Something's going on here. And you know what? He said, you're right. He said, you are right. And then what he did, he put me in charge of that kid.
Oh, okay.
And I had no problem. I took that. You know what I saw, Robin? Can I tell you what I saw?
Sure.
I saw a need. Now, everybody's going to laugh at me. I'm not an expert on this stuff. But I saw a need for this kid to have a girlfriend. I said that to myself. I said, if this kid had a girlfriend, he would be a different person. Suddenly, he would have somebody who cared for him. Suddenly, he would care for somebody. Suddenly, there'd be a reason to live.
Yeah.
Suddenly, there'd be something to be proud about. And so I had this, oh my gosh, I worked with him for a long time. And I said to him, there's two things I want to help you with. I want to help you get a job, and I want to help you get a girlfriend. And his eyes were like unbelievable. Like nobody ever said that to him before. And I haven't thought of this story in forever, but I think, but I'm just, if you don't mind me dwelling on this just for a second here. I said to him, I have the secret to happiness. Can I share it with you? And he wanted to know. And I said, it's a job and a girlfriend. You need a job and you need a girlfriend. And so the first thing was a job. I said, because no girl's going to want you if you're borrowing from your mom.
Exactly.
So I took him around from place to place to place. I spoke to employers, and I said, look, he's a little bit awkward. He's shy. He doesn't say much. But I've had conversations with this kid, and he'll warm up to you. Give him a chance. And finally, we had a printer in town It wasn't Pip. It was one of the other printers we had in town. And
First Impressions was one.
I don't want to say a name. But anyway,
all right.
it was
I
one of the
won't
printers
say.
in town that said, okay, we'll take a chance. And you know what? He worked out to be a really good employee.
Nice.
Now, as far as getting a girlfriend, I did not succeed in that. But I did tell him to have confidence. I said, if there's somebody you're interested in, two things. Don't let your shyness ruin your life. You have to get past it.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, if she's not interested, there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Just to remember those two things. And who knows? I mean, I kind of lost touch with them, but I really thought that was that's the amateur psychologist that I was once upon a time.
But you probably didn't see any police reports or anything on him or something bad
I never
in the
did.
newspaper.
I never
so
did see
he must
another
have
report.
succeeded in his job and
Right.
then gotten a girlfriend.
Right. All right. Another thing your tax money is paying for is property taxes. I don't know if it's paying for that, but let me see what it says here. Legislators rejected a proposal by Governor Scott to use a rise in local property values to provide additional money for schools. Instead, the budget includes enough state money to have a small decrease in local property taxes. Okay.
All right, that works.
See if that is passed along. We'll find out. Pay raises is the next thing they want us to talk about. It says there are no across-the-board pay raises for state workers included in this state budget. The budget includes a 7 or 10% pay raise for state law enforcement officers, as well as raises for assistant state attorneys, assistant public defenders, and juvenile probation officers. State firefighters will be given a $2,500 increase. Florida's 7 Supreme Court justices are also getting a nearly 24% raise that will increase their salaries to, what do you think they make?
They probably make at least $100,000 a year.
$220,600 a year, Robin.
Wow, and they're getting a 24% raise, and the regular firefighters and law enforcement are getting, what, 7%? Oh, my God.
All right, the next one is tuition.
Jeez.
Did I take up too much time? No.
No.
I got it. Okay.
No.
Tuition rates for college and university students will stay the same in the new budget. Legislators have also agreed to increase several financial aid programs. Those eligible for the top level of the state's Bright Futures Scholarship will receive an award equal to 100% of tuition and fees. Those eligible for the Florida Medallion Scholars will receive an award equal to 75% of tuition and fees. Top-level Bright Futures Scholarship recipients will also be able to receive money for summer classes. By the way, I think the Bright Futures money comes from the lottery, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure about that. The next talking point that our legislators wanted you to hear about is citrus canker. Legislators included $52 million in the budget to pay homeowners who live in Broward and Palm Beach counties and whose healthy citrus trees were torn down in a failed attempt to eradicate citrus canker.
Oh, my gosh.
Governor
I
Scott
remember.
vetoed a similar item last year. Do you remember this?
I remember that story, yeah.
52 million. Oh, those people are getting a chunk of cash.
Yep.
What'd you get the money for, Grandma? Oh, they cut my tree down.
Yeah.
I'm already richer than you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got another hunk of money because they cut my tree down.
Exactly. Yeah, they just came in and the homeowners had no say-so at all.
All right, here's another item on the budget. The environment. More than $100 million was included in the budget for Florida Forever, which is how long my niece wants my melodica.
Yes.
Forever, Uncle Larry.
Exactly. Can I have this?
I swear I'm going to give it to her when she gets married.
Yeah.
That's going to be my thing when I go to her wedding one day in like 20 years, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand up and do a little speech. I got something for you that you wanted forever.
Yes.
It's a funny story. Anyway, I'm sorry. We went on a tangent there. All right. So $100 million for the environment. This is the largest amount set aside for the program since the Great Recession. The budget also includes $50 million for springs restoration, which affects us here in Marion County because we got some beautiful springs here.
Beautiful springs.
And more than $60 million for beach restoration, including more than $11 million for beaches that were damaged by Hurricane Irma.
Gosh.
All right. That's not bad.
No,
I'm
not
okay with
bad.
that.
Not bad at all.
I like the beaches, the springs.
Sure.
All right, healthcare is another topic that the money is going to. The new budget includes increased spending on Medicaid and the state's subsidized children's health insurance program, as well as increased payments to nursing homes. The budget also increases a personal needs allowance provided to nursing home residents. A personal needs allowance
Wow.
provided to... Oh, wow. That's kind of
Gosh.
nice thing to have at your access. Let's hope
Yeah.
people don't abuse it.
Right. Exactly.
I wonder if that money goes to the generators that they were talking about.
Yeah. I wonder.
3 more items on the list. Cybersecurity is the next one. Legislators agreed to set aside $1.9 million in grants that would go to county election officials that would be used to monitor security threats and suspicious activity. So our guy here in Marion County who handles the elections would get that money, well, part of that money, to
Yes.
make sure we're not hacked.
Wesley Wilcox.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
State legislators, taxes is the next category. State legislators agreed on a tax cut package. It includes a 3-day holiday in August where sales taxes on most clothing and school supplies will not be charged. The tax cut legislation also calls for a week-long period in June where taxes will not be charged on hurricane supplies, including batteries, flashlights, and generators. Legislators did not go along with a proposal from Governor Scott to reduce fees charged to get or renew a driver's license. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So
there
far,
you go.
so far, nothing about the time change thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess that's not a budget thing, is it? All right.
No.
So the last thing in the budget is economic development. Legislators kept funding levels the same for economic development programs that are priorities for Governor Scott. The governor wanted $100 million for Visit Florida, the state's tourism marketing agency, but lawmakers instead kept it at $76 million.
I'd love to be with that ad agency. My gosh.
Legislators also
Ask
set
me.
aside $85 million for a fund that can be used for workforce training or construction projects that aid economic development.
There you
So
go.
there you go. That's the thumbnail sketch of where the budget money is going from the just recently approved $89 billion budget for the state of Florida.
Gosh.
What do you think? Any thoughts on any of that?
Nope, not off the top of my head.
Not off the
I think, except for the the justices, 24% increase when the guys that are protecting your life only get 7%. There's something wrong with that. That I have issues
And 20.
with.
Oh, yes, you are so right.
24% for
and
the judges.
7% of $30,000 is so much less than 24% of $200,000.
$200,000. Exactly. Exactly. I've got an issue with that.
The rich get richer, Robin.
Exactly.
The poor just stay itchy.
Right.
All right, we are done. We got to move forward. Glenn Beck is coming up in just a little bit. We will be back tomorrow. Enjoy your cooler Monday afternoon. And remember, we're here for you. Hey, tell somebody you care about that we are probably the last frontier when it comes to keeping things local in radio.
Yes.
And because of that, we reach a lot of people. So if you have a business that will benefit from us yapping about it, don't call Robin or me because we won't have the answers, but call Joe
Or Tish.
or Tish. The number is 732-8000. That's a little advertisement for advertisements. All right, hang in there. Glenn Beck coming up. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
In quality, it's Captain T's upholstery.
Is that couch cushion sinking lower every time you sit in it? Does your boat look better with the cover on? Has your car's interior seen its better days? Stop using a towel to cover up those rips in the golf cart. Isn't it about time you had it restored to better than new with a custom upholstery from Captain T? Captain T's upholstery has been right here in Ocala for nearly 20 years, so they know how to make your ride one of a kind. Whether you want to take that classic ride back to a factory look or put your favorite sports team front and center, Captain T's Upholstery is who to call. 352-369-1810. That's 352-369-1810. Or stop by their location, 5030 South Pine Avenue in Ocala, just past the drive-in. And of course, don't forget to visit them on the web, CaptainTUpholstery.com.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. The last full day of campaigning in a special election in western Pennsylvania. They vote tomorrow.